This is the clockmaker's secret. In the quiet village of Grimvale, nestled between misty hills, stood an ancient clock tower. Its mechanism had ticked relentlessly for centuries, overseen by generations of clockmakers. The last of these was an old man named Aldrich, a reclusive figure known for his precision and unrivaled craftsmanship. But what made Aldrich famous wasn't just his skill. It was the legend of the clockmaker's secret. It was said that Aldrich possessed knowledge passed down only to the village clockmakers, a hidden truth that gave the tower its supernatural accuracy. The clock never stopped, never needed repair, and always told perfect time, no matter the weather or circumstances. People speculated, whispered about the possibility of magic, but no one dared to ask Aldrich directly. His sharp eyes and cold demeanor kept curious villagers at a distance. One autumn evening, a young apprentice named Alara arrived in the village, eager to learn from the great Aldrich. She was persistent, and after days of knocking at his door, the old man finally relented. Begrudgingly, he allowed her to work under him, showing her the intricate gears and springs that made the clock tick. He taught her the principles of horology, but never mentioned the secret. Yet, Alara was clever. She noticed small things, a faint, otherworldly hum in the tower at night, and the way Aldrich would sometimes disappear for hours, only to return with a haunted look in his eyes. Her curiosity grew, and she began to investigate on her own. One night, unable to contain her curiosity, she followed Aldrich to the tower's upper chamber. There, she found him standing before a large, hidden clock mechanism, unlike any she had ever seen. Its gears shimmered as if made of stardust, and at its center was a crystal pendulum, pulsating with a gentle light. Aldrich turned to her, his face weary but resigned. "I knew you'd find it," he said softly. "This is the clockmaker's secret." Alara stepped closer, mesmerized. "What is it? Is it magic?" Aldrich shook his head. "Not magic, at least not in the way you think. This clock is connected to the very fabric of time itself. It keeps the world in balance. If it were to stop, time in Grimvale, and perhaps beyond, would unravel." Alara's breath caught in her throat. "Why have you kept this hidden?" "Because knowledge like this is dangerous," Aldrich replied. "People would seek to control it, to manipulate time for their own purposes. It was entrusted to our family long ago, and I've spent my life guarding it." Aldrich's hands trembled as he reached for the crystal pendulum. "But the clock is not eternal. Its power is fading, and I am too old to maintain it." He looked at Alara, his gaze piercing. "That's why you're here." Alara's heart raced. "You want me to take over?" "You're the only one who can," Aldrich said, his voice heavy with responsibility. "But be warned, the burden is great. You will live longer than most, but you will always be bound to this clock. Its time will be your time." Alara hesitated, the weight of the decision pressing on her, but she knew deep down that this was her destiny. With a nod, she stepped forward. Aldrich smiled faintly, his eyes softening. "Then the secret is yours." And so, Alara became the keeper of time, the new guardian of the clock tower. The villagers noticed little difference, save for the occasional sight of her at the top of the tower, her silhouette framed against the evening sky. The clock continued to tick perfectly, its secret safe in the hands of its new master. But in the quiet moments, Alara would listen to the hum of the ancient mechanism and wonder, how long could she keep time in balance? And what would happen if she failed? Only time would tell.